rather pleasant, but melancholy enough, I think. And it's a sad day. And I think it is a sad day. The whole idea of the merger between Eastbourne and Lewes was to save £2.7 million. Now, I've discovered to my cost, and I have what are probably known as whistleblowers, but certainly informants from inside the council, so that when the charge is made that staff are leaving in droves, I know that to be sound, based on sound evidence. And so what happens is, with a reduction in staff, people are doing jobs which they are simply not qualified for. And I'm finding that, certainly in my dealings with them. But the one thing that is very, very terrifying about this whole thing is that the one area that they aren't having any problems with, oh yes they are, but the one area that acts within seconds is the council tax area. I've had some considerable problems with them over the last 6 months or so. I can't get anything straight from them, except when they determine that they think they would like to collect a little money, is they send out bullying letters, and they are bullying letters too. Now, that could be because I'm just an awkward sod. Yes, let's put it that way. I'm an awkward sod. Always have been and probably always will be. The fact of the matter is that I have a grievance and I have a case. So they arbitrarily decided that they would take me to court. Now, they only let me know 2 days before. They didn't bother to tell me that they'd lodged anything with the court. But luckily, I was able to go down there, and I was armed. And I told them that I was armed. And I told them that I was going to apply to have a television camera in the court. And so I was intercepted by an official, and we came to an agreement. The agreement was that I would pay my council tax, which I duly did, and that they would actually research properly the amounts of money that is given to local people to find places to live if they are homeless in the area, but not people who want to sleep on the street. And they came up with the figure of £80 a week. And they said, after extensive research by our man who does these surveys, etc., etc. So I said, well, who does the surveys? Because simply they do not match up with my surveys and with the surveys that other people have done. And all you've got to do is to look on the groups to find out that the very least that you can get is about £500 a month for just a room with shared facilities. But that's the figure that they came up with. Well, how did you come up with that figure? And who did the research? Deathly silence. Right. We are now in the position of starting some local media. So we would like to know, who do we get information from? Deathly silence. We would like to know how you explain the difference between the ladies at the front desk saying you've got a computer problem and the fact that you say in your direct conversation with me, no, we haven't. You know, somebody's selling porkies somewhere, and I rather think that it's not the little lady on the front desk. And these are some of the questions that I posed. Deathly silence until I came home on Friday night, last Friday, and to find that there were 3 letters, all contradicting one another, giving different figures, including the cost of a court. So if they're taking me to court again, I have no idea that that's the case. But what it means, of course, is that they'll just have to defer it. But I'm certainly not... what happens to some people, of course, is that they're so terrified of these things. Is the thing is nodded through and the court just says, yeah, well, nobody's represented. The case is made for the council and they just get their bully boys in to go and collect it. Well, that's simply not good enough. Customer care is what they base their logos and slogans on. Customer first, in fact, not customer care, customer first. And nothing could be further from the truth. I sometimes am very dejected at the thought and the idea that we are in a society where such things can go on, where we can be led by such people, particularly when we had such good leadership no more than 5, 6, 7 years ago. And we don't have it now. And if the politicians aren't prepared to kick their executive, because it can get very cosy, you know. It can get very cosy. If you are dealing on a day-to-day basis, you can't bark too often. Well, I don't see them on a day-to-day basis, so I can bark all I want. And I'm going to bark, and I'm going to continue to bark, and I hope that you'll all bark. Because until this is sorted, we are going to have inefficient councils, and the next increase will be bigger and bigger and bigger to try and satisfy the fact that they've cocked it up. It's a cock-up. Now, I have started to do investigations, and I was quite interested in Boris's speech. Root and branch, he said, root and branch. We need governance systems changed. And what he meant by root and branch is not only in Westminster, where it's begging for reform, but right down to district, town and parish councils, that the governance that we get just simply doesn't work. And I say, yes, indeed, Boris, you're right. But I'm not sure that Boris wasn't, without saying that he learned things, you know, the lobby secrets that politicians are allowed to have. We can say it, but we can't tell you where we got it from. But it would appear that his concerns, or his speech, was reflecting real concerns in central government that things aren't working, and that there are big changes on the way that are going to affect local councils. But you know, one of the things that we can do, and we've got an election coming up in May, so it's better to let this play out with the present administration and the present set of councillors. We've got an election in May the 2nd, I think it is. And what we can do, we can ask the federal government, the central government, to take over the administration of the council. And I'm not so sure that that's not a bad idea to ask the government to do it. And if, in fact, there aren't satisfactory answers immediately after and up to polling day, then I think that Mirador Television and Rouser Radio will start a petition asking for the government to investigate this council, because it's certainly it doesn't tell the truth. It's not overt. It doesn't stay open to. It hides things from the local electorate. Its efficiency has just gone through the floor, and that's affecting everybody, and it's affecting me. And what happens is that when they make a mistake, they try to bully me. Well, you know, I'm just in that group that they like to bully, 79-year-old, and there are a lot of older people. It's easy to bully. Well, here's a message for the council. It ain't easy to bully me. Now, I'm going to use another Bensound track this morning. Going higher. Let's see how we can go higher, because the local council needs to be brought down and chopped off at the knees. uplifting tune. I think we had not a bad choice of music this morning. And this is all stuff that you won't hear, generally speaking, elsewhere. So do enjoy, because some of it is pretty good. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, they say. But also, nobody is more offended than the righteous. So, I'm afraid I'm sounding as if I'm squeaky clean, which I'm not. But I'm pretending to be for the sake of trying to get some action so that we can get a decent council locally, efficient, kind, caring, and not just in it for the money. And that's really what politics has turned into: greed and avarice. And if we don't get that seed change that Boris was talking about, then we're all in trouble. Well, I'm sorry to say that because of the cock-up, it's time for me. We've gone 5 minutes over, and yet, indeed, we're still only in the 29th minute of broadcasting. So let's say toodle pip for today. We'll see if we can find that lovely, yes, there it is, a lovely piece from Ben Sound that takes us out each morning. Here it is. I will be back tomorrow. Keith Hayes from Lewes in East Sussex in the UK, not in Delaware. Doodle pip.